So hello and welcome back to the Ethane Coal Reports, where we break down global power moves, rising tensions, and the stories that could reshape the world before they explode. What if I told you the world might already be standing on the edge of a war bigger than anything we've seen in decades, and most people don't even realize it yet? Because right now, behind headlines, behind diplomacy, and behind silence, three powerful forces are moving closer and closer to direct confrontation. And if this escalates, it won't stay contained. It could shake the entire world. Breaking. U.S.-Israel versus Iran conflict escalates into full-scale war fears. Right now, global attention is locked onto one region, the Middle East. Tensions between the United States, Israel, and Iran have been building for years, slowly, quietly, but consistently. But now, something feels different. This is no longer just political pressure. This is no longer just warnings. This is movement. Military movement, strategic movement, dangerous movement. Reports suggest increased deployments, rising alert levels, and aggressive positioning from all sides. And when powerful nations stop talking and start positioning, history tells us something bigger is coming. This isn't just another regional conflict, because the players involved are not small. The United States, the most powerful military force in the world; Israel, one of the most advanced and technologically equipped defense systems on Earth; Iran, a regional powerhouse with deep influence and strategic alliances. Now imagine these forces not just threatening, but actually engaging. That's why analysts across the world are using one phrase again and again: escalation risk. So what does escalation really mean? It means small actions turning into bigger ones. A strike answered by retaliation, a warning ignored, a red line crossed. And suddenly, what started as tension becomes conflict, and conflict becomes war. Experts are warning that the situation is entering a high-risk phase, because once things cross a certain point, they become impossible to control. And that's exactly why the world is watching closely, because this is not just about three countries. This is about what happens next. If this conflict expands, it could pull in regional allies, global powers, economic systems, and energy markets. And suddenly, this isn't just a war zone, it becomes a global crisis. One of the biggest concerns right now is oil. The Middle East controls a massive portion of global oil supply, and one critical location keeps coming up again and again: the Strait of Hormuz. A narrow passage, but one of the most important routes on Earth. If that gets disrupted, oil prices could skyrocket. And if oil rises, everything rises: fuel, food, transportation, daily life. That's how a regional conflict becomes a global impact. At the same time, military readiness across the region is increasing. Air defenses on high alert, naval forces repositioning, strategic assets being deployed. These are not random actions. These are signals. Signals that say, we are ready if this goes further. But this is not just about weapons. This is about strategy. Each side is calculating every move. How far can we go? What will the response be? Where is the breaking point? Because in modern conflict, power is not just about strength. It's about timing. Right now, the world is not watching a full war. It's watching something more dangerous. A situation waiting for a spark. Because sometimes it doesn't take a massive event. Sometimes it's one incident, one miscalculation, one mistake, and everything changes. If this situation escalates into direct conflict, the consequences could be massive. Airstrikes could intensify, retaliations could expand, alliances could activate, and suddenly, multiple countries could be involved. That's when things stop being predictable, and unpredictability is the most dangerous factor of all. If this turns into a wider conflict, the effects won't stay limited to one region. We're talking about economic instability, rising global tensions, political shifts, market uncertainty, because the world runs on stability, and war destroys stability. Another layer to all of this is information. Not everything you see is the full truth. In situations like this, information itself becomes a battlefield. Narratives are controlled, news is shaped, perception is managed. So what people believe may not always match what's actually happening behind the scenes. And that makes understanding the real situation even more difficult. So what happens next? That's the question everyone is asking. And the truth is, no one knows for sure. Because right now, we are in a phase of tension, movement, and possibility. It could cool down, or it could escalate. And the line between those two outcomes is extremely thin. History has shown us again and again that the most dangerous moments are not when war begins, but when the world doesn't realize how close it already is. So stay aware, stay informed, because what's happening right now could shape what happens next. This is the Ethane Coal Reports, and we don't just report the news, we decode it.